Welcome to this overview of the UCAT, the University Clinical Aptitude Test. This presentation outlines the essential steps in your UCAT journey. We will cover what the UCAT is, provide you with information about booking and preparing for your test, before finally touching upon scoring and results. All the information covered in this presentation is also available on our website. The University Clinical Aptitude Test, or UCAT, is an admissions test used in selection processes by a consortium of medical and dental schools. It was developed to help universities achieve greater fairness in selection by helping them make more informed choices from amongst many highly qualified applicants. Rather than focusing on academic knowledge, the UCAT assesses a range of cognitive skills, attitudes, and professional behaviours identified by our universities as important for success as medical or dental students. The UCAT is a multiple-choice, computer-based test, sat at Pearson VUE test centres throughout the UK and worldwide. The test takes just under 2 hours. Universities use UCAT results alongside other selection criteria, such as academic grades and interviews, to decide which applicants to make offers to. The UK universities listed on this slide require the UCAT as part of their entry requirements for selected medicine or dentistry courses. You can see the full list, including our international partner universities, on our website. If you are planning on applying to UK universities for 2026 entry, you need to sit the UCAT in summer 2025 before submitting your UCAS application. It is important to be aware of the test cycle dates, because UCAT does not make exceptions to deadlines. Account creation for the UCAT 2025 opens on the 13th of May. Applications for our bursary scheme or for access arrangements also open on this date. Test booking is open from 17th of June until 19th September. The UCAT must be sat within the testing window, which runs from 7th of July to 26th of September. You can choose the test centre, time and date that is most convenient for you within the testing window. We strongly recommend you book as early as possible. If you choose to book a late test and then miss your test appointment, you may not be able to rebook within the testing window. You may only sit the UCAT once in any test cycle. The fee for taking the test in the UK is £70 and £115 if you sit the test outside the UK. We offer full-fee bursaries to UK candidates from low-income households who meet at least one of the eligibility criteria listed on our website. If your application is approved, you will receive a bursary voucher to use when booking your test. We encourage applying early for a bursary so you can have the voucher ready when you book. More information about the process and evidence required is available on our website. If you are normally entitled to accommodations such as extra time or rest breaks in exams due to a documented special educational need, disability or medical condition, you may be entitled to access arrangements when sitting the UCAT. Access arrangements must be approved by the UCAT office before you book your test. More information about the process and evidence required is available on our website. Although the UCAT is a test of aptitude rather than academic knowledge, preparation is still vital. Our highest scoring candidates report spending around 25 to 30 hours on their UCAT preparation, and starting at least 6 weeks before their test date. The best way to prepare is using the free resources available on the UCAT website. Many commercial training companies offer coaching in the UCAT. We are not affiliated with any commercial companies. We cannot comment on the quality of their materials or the accuracy of their scores. Be skeptical of any claims they make regarding their services. We often come across misleading or incorrect information provided by these companies. We have several free preparation resources available on our website, including the UCAT preparation plan, question tutorials, question banks, and timed practice tests. In total, we provide candidates with over 1,400 test questions, which is more than sufficient to prepare for the test. We also have lots of information about what to expect on test day, and tips and advice from previous high-scoring candidates. You should also familiarise yourself with the test rules and ID policy prior to your test day. The UCAT consists of 4 subtests. There are 3 cognitive subtests: verbal reasoning, decision-making, and quantitative reasoning. And then there's the situational judgment test. Now we've given an overview of the UCAT, we will look at each subtest in more detail and look at some example questions. question tutorials, which provide more detailed advice and strategies on how to approach each subtest, are available on our website. The first subtest is verbal reasoning. This subtest assesses your ability to read and think carefully about information presented in passages of text. You have 22 minutes to answer 44 questions. These will be associated with 11 passages of text, each linked to 4 questions. The topics of the passages are varied, and no prior knowledge is needed to answer the questions. Critical reasoning skills are required to draw conclusions quickly from the information provided within the passage. The timing is designed to be challenging, and speed reading skills are quite important in this subtest. Activities like reading newspaper articles and trying to pull out key facts quickly are useful as part of preparation. Here is an example of a verbal reasoning question. On the left, there is a passage of text about seawater quality around the UK. Having read this information, you are required to identify the most influential factor impacting on water quality, choosing from 4 responses. If you wish to, you can pause this presentation to read the passage and work out the answer. Press play when you are ready for the response. The correct answer is B. Continual UV treatment is portrayed as positive throughout the text, particularly in the 3rd paragraph. The second subtest is decision-making. This subtest assesses your ability to apply logic to reach a decision or conclusion, evaluate arguments, and analyse statistical information. You have 37 minutes to answer 35 questions. These may be associated with text passages or with diagrams, charts, or graphs. There's a variety of different question types in decision-making, including logical puzzles, syllogisms, and Venn diagrams. Knowledge of specific mathematical or logical reasoning terminology is not required. An on-screen basic calculator is available for use, and a notebook and pen are provided for note-taking. Our decision-making example is a syllogism question. Syllogisms are statements involving different propositions, allowing you to use your reasoning to draw conclusions. In this question, you are required to make sense of the sentence at the top and use your reasoning skills to deduce whether the 5 statements follow. If you wish to, you can pause this presentation to read the question and think of your answer. When you are ready for the response, press play. The correct solution is provided on this slide. As an example, we can conclude that if a maple is a deciduous tree found in this forest, it is 20 feet tall, because potentilla and daphne are the only 2 deciduous trees in the forest that are not 20 feet tall. These questions might feel quite complicated at first sight, but there are lots of examples on our website. The third subtest is quantitative reasoning. You have 26 minutes to answer 36 questions. These will all be associated with numerical data, presented in formats such as tables, graphs, or charts. The focus of this subtest is more on problem solving than mathematical ability. However, we would recommend brushing up on aspects of maths such as ratios, fractions, and percentages, as well as mental maths, as this may save time. The on-screen basic calculator is once again available for use. Check out the test tools section of our website to practice using the calculator so that you are familiar with it during the live test. The notebook and pen may be useful in jotting down calculations. In this example, you are provided with a table of data relating to advertising prices and asked to cost out the difference in 2 potential orders placed by a company. Once again, you may wish to pause this presentation to work out the answer. Press play when you are ready for the response. The correct answer is B. The data in the table allows you to calculate each element of these orders and then work out the difference between them. The final subtest in the UCAT is the Situational Judgment Test, or SJT. You have 26 minutes to answer 69 questions. These questions are designed to determine how you would deal with real-world situations in terms of assessing critical factors and deciding on appropriate behaviour. Traits being assessed include integrity, empathy, communication, team involvement, resilience, and adaptability, all essential skills for medical and dental students. You are presented with various scenarios and questions associated with each scenario. Questions do not require medical or procedural knowledge. However, reading the General Medical Council guidelines on good medical practice, which describe the professional values and behaviours the GMC expect from any doctor registered with them, should provide a useful perspective for approaching these questions. In this example, you are presented with a scenario on the left regarding the experience of a medical student, Arnold, whilst training. Arnold has noted that the patient may be allergic to medication they have been prescribed. The student needs to respond to this situation, and you are asked to judge how appropriate different responses might be. The response you are asked to consider is for Arnold to speak to another doctor on the ward. You may wish to pause the presentation to work out the answer. When you are ready for the response, press play. The correct answer here is that this would be a very appropriate thing to do, as the other doctor would be able to alter the prescription. All subtests are marked on the number of correct answers. There is no negative marking in the test. Your UCAT score comprises 2 separate parts. Each of the cognitive subtests are scored between 300 to 900, resulting in a total score between 900 and 2,700. You will receive a banding from 1 to 4 for the situational judgment test, with band 1 being the highest. Results are available on test day. You will be given a copy of your UCAT score report as you leave the test centre. This will also be available through your web account within 24 hours. We publish preliminary and final test statistics on our website, alongside a percentile lookup tool, so you can see how well you've performed against other candidates within the same test cycle. UCAT results are available well in advance of the UCAS deadline. You can look at how your preferred universities use the UCAT, which varies between universities. For example, some may apply a threshold score, either for the cognitive subtests or the SJT. It's important to research this to avoid wasting an application. UCAT will deliver results directly to UK university choices in early November. This is the end of the UCAT 2025 overview. We hope you found this presentation useful. The information covered is available on the UCAT website, ucat.ac.uk. You can also follow us on Instagram at UCAT Official for important updates, deadline reminders, practice questions, and candidate advice. We wish you all the best with your UCAT journey.